how do I have conversations with my borrowers around the equity in their home? Hello friends, welcome back to Market Shares. I'm your host, Tony Blodgett, and today I just want to do a quick message, something that was on my mind about home equity. You know, it's unprecedented how much home equity people have today, and what's strange about it is no one is tapping into their home equity. Now, we know why that is. It's not because they don't need it. It's because it's very expensive to access your home equity. I mean, honestly, who wants to refinance their mortgage at a much higher rate than their current mortgage in order to pull out some cash to do home improvements, debt consolidation, or, other things they may want to do with that cash? But here's the reality is that you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised who might want to do that, right? And it really comes down to math and numbers. And I think that our job as mortgage professionals and real estate professionals is helping people think about what their options are. I mean, can you think of a worse situation than someone who has a really low interest rate, a really good mortgage payment, but they're so saddled with other debt that they're on the brink of bankruptcy? Because I promise you, there's people out there that are in that sort of a situation. And because of this idea that they don't want to touch their current mortgage, they don't take steps necessary that are going to really benefit their overall financial situation. And look, I'll be honest, I don't know that a cash out refinance is the right thing for most people. Chances are it's probably not. But how would we know unless we're having conversations with our clients about how things are going right now, letting them know about how much equity they have? I mean, if you're someone who uses a tool like HomeBot, for instance, I think it'd be great to give a call to one of your past clients. Hey, just want to make sure you've been receiving that HomeBot subscription that I enrolled you for. Have you been keeping an eye on how much equity you have in your home? I know now is not probably an ideal time to think about tapping into that equity with where interest rates are, but what I'd like to do is have a conversation with you about how things are going overall for you financially, because if now is not the time, maybe there's a time in the future. Like, that doesn't sound like a very difficult phone call to make, to just let people know that you're thinking about them, you care about them, and you want to see how things are going for their household, given the other challenges with inflation, wage pressures, etc., that we see in our economy. Now, what this also brings up to me is other ways of tapping in to someone's equity, because you don't just have to do a cash out refinance in order to tap into your equity. There is home equity lines of credit. There's fixed rate second mortgages. And I think that what you're going to see is a surge of these products in the marketplace. It's something that our company is working on right now, and it's something that I know that others are doing as well. Because what we know is that historically speaking, when there's this much equity in people's homes and there's this kind of economic pressure, people need to tap into that equity. They need to. Many of them, not everybody, obviously, but there are people who need that to bridge the gap. And we're seeing unprecedented low circumstances of people tapping into their equity. And so let's talk really quick about what are the other options besides a cash out refinance. First of all, a home equity loan. Pretty self-explanatory. Home equity, HELOC, stands for home equity line of credit. Obviously, the benefit of the line of credit is you don't need to take the full amount if you don't need it today, but it can be like an insurance policy that you can draw from in the future if you need to tap into that equity. And we all know that the worst time to try to borrow money is when you need it. I don't care how much equity you have in your home. If you lose your job because of, changes in the economy, because of illness or whatever, that creates a situation where you're no longer employed, tapping into that equity is very difficult in circumstances like that. So being prepared can be a good insurance policy for some people. So a home equity line of credit can help you do that. The other option is a fixed rate second mortgage. The benefit of a fixed rate second mortgage is if you know exactly how much money you need, in order to consolidate some of your debts or pay for something else that you have going on, you can pull out just that amount of money, fix in the interest rate, where a home equity line of credit is not a fixed interest rate. It will move whenever the Feds change rates. You'll see that go up or down with the Fed movement. So more volatility with a home equity line of credit. A fixed rate mortgage can be a great option if you know exactly what you need today. You don't want to have any surprises about what your monthly payment's going to be, and you want to have a fully amortizing monthly payment. So that's another option besides the home equity line of credit. And yeah, I will say that I do think doing a cash out refinance for some people makes sense. Not everybody refinance their mortgages into the 2.75 or 3% range. There's people that have mortgage rates in the 4s, 4.25, 4.5, and maybe the blended rate, depending on what it is they have for other debts, might make sense. But you wouldn't know that until you do the math. And look, the average consumer doesn't understand how the math works. And so it's our responsibility to recognize that the knowledge that we have about how mortgages work, HELOCs work, second mortgages work, it's our responsibility to reach out and share those ideas, share those strategies, and help people run the math. And look, it may be that most people, it doesn't make sense to do it. That's okay. It doesn't mean you shouldn't talk to them and have a conversation. I'm not saying be salesy or pushy or push someone into a product they don't otherwise need. I'm saying make yourself a resource, reconnect with your client, be in touch with folks and educate them about what the options are. And if now's not the right time, if they don't need it today, that's fine. But you've done your job of checking in. Those are the kind of conversations I think that we should be having today, because I promise you there's a lot of people that could benefit from tapping into their equity that aren't even sure what options are out there. And that's where we can help bridge that gap. So you guys, that was really my only message today. I think it's a really important one for you to consider, is really brush up on how do I have conversations with my borrowers around the equity in their home? Even if the answer is just reminding them how much equity they have, what a great financial position they're in, and maybe they don't need to tap into it today. That's okay. It's another conversation. It's an opportunity to ask for a referral and stay connected with your client, so when there are needs in the future, they remember you. So brush up on your tools. If you work at a company that has a home equity product or a fixed rate second mortgage, or they're coming out with one, because many are right now, don't just brush it off. Become an expert at how to help people understand and tap into their equity when they need it, because this economy might get a little bit challenging, and the time to be prepared is before the challenges come. So keep that in mind. I hope this was a helpful message. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch Market Shares. I appreciate your time and attention and letting people in the industry know about the content that we're creating here on Market Shares. Like and subscribe, obviously, if you haven't already. And until next time, take care.